Good day, listeners from around the world. This is your host, James Jordan, coming at you for the Wide World of Motorsports podcast, recorded for the week of May 2nd, 2021, and simulcast on Radio Waterloo, as well as the Wide World of Motorsports TV. Just ask Siri or Alexa to pull up the Wide World of Motorsports on your television. And I would recommend people check this out on the Wide World of Motorsports on Facebook. I had shared a video from the Monaco 2006 F1 race where Kimi Räikkönen had a pretty bad wreck, but then he was like, I'm going to walk back to the yacht, like straight. Like they actually followed him walking through like all these turns and stuff, and there's like a race going on, and he's obviously he's like in the same area where photographers go, and sometimes often like in the same area where people are watching, and there's this guy walking back to his yacht. Then by the end of the race they show him he's already in his bathing suit. You could see like everyone's got champagne glasses. He's with his friends from his homeland, and they're all just hanging out, you know, in his hot tub on the yacht. Wow, that's such a Kimmy thing. I thought that was pretty badass. And not only that, because next thing you know, it'll be Monaco, and obviously always excited for that's like the biggest weekend of racing, the trifecta of racing.
Always marked on the calendars for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, if people should head over to Facebook, check it out. It's real funny. Yeah, you're right. It's such a epic Kimmy moment.
It is, and it's funny because it's so Senna-esque, because Senna did the same thing. When he was leading Monaco, he had like a 30-second lead, dominated the race, and his crew came on the radio and told him that he needed to slow down a little bit, and he did, and he put it in the wall, and he disappeared, and they couldn't find him, and apparently he had walked back to his apartment.
That's pretty cool. You know, I guess that's like a unique situation where you can walk back to, I mean, for NASCAR drivers, it seems like a normal thing. They just go back to their motorhome or whatever. But
yeah, but they always go get checked out. That's the big one, right?
But speaking of that, Lewis Hamilton showing why he's the greatest on that race. I'm like reluctant why he's the greatest on that Portuguese Grand Prix. 97 wins for him. He's
just the greatest. He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
I know.
Over Max Verstappen and Mercedes teammate Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah.
Hamilton had slipped to third after a safety car restart caused when Alfa Romeo's Kimi Räikkönen collided with Antonio Giovinazzi. His left rear wheel. He clipped
his teammate.
Yeah, on lap 7.
Yeah.
So Hamilton overtook Verstappen on lap 11 and racing past Bottas, who he started in the pole for the lead 9 laps later.
Yeah. Kimi apparently was looking at his he was looking down. He was looking at
or something.
Apparently that's what has come out is he was looking down at his steering wheel, and he looked up and he didn't know he closed that fast on his teammate and ran into the back of him.
Yeah, and at that point in the race, with once Hamilton overtook Verstappen and getting past Bottas, that was it. Hamilton never looked back, and he had a comfortable 29-second margin. And this is his second win of the season. Puts him 8 points ahead of Red Bull's Verstappen in the title standings. And he will obviously look to extend that at the Spanish Grand Prix on May 9th.
Yeah, Barcelona.
Grand Prix. Yeah, you know what? I always relate to when people talked about when Jimmy was winning everything back in the mid to late 2000s and how that kind of, in quotes, apparently ruined NASCAR, whether it did or not. But I could see why in some ways it's like you get that, Lewis Hamilton won again. It's like, I get it.
Well,
I'm sorry, people.
Ferrari years. When Ferrari was dominating, right? People said the same thing. Oh, they're just going to win and lead.
But you know, like.
But that's how it is, right? That's just.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you? I don't know what the alternative is.
I'll tell you what the alternative is, Wallace.
What's that?
Sleeping in.
I don't know. I don't like that one either.
No, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's interesting to see just every race what's going to happen. We'll see what happens on May 9th with Lewis, continues that or not. And
yep.
In that world, we also, in the open wheel racing world, we do know and recognize and acknowledge the contributions that Bob Unser gave to the world of motorsports, and we do. Let's give a moment of silence here.
Yeah, 87 I think he was, or 82, 87.
Lived a long life.
Yeah,
lived a good life.
One of the most colorful guys in the paddock. If you talk to anybody who really knows IndyCar racing, he was quite a character. And then later in his life, when he stepped back from racing, he became an announcer, and he was quite a good color commentator for sure.
Yeah. Then yes, it was definitely a big news in the wide world of motorsports. So we definitely want our thoughts and prayers to the family, the Unser family.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, going into the some more IndyCar news here. Hey, it's May. It's finally May, obviously, and
yeah,
we saw a little taste of oval racing for the first time this season. 2021 NTT INDYCAR Series. Lee Diffie. But just start busting into Lee Diffie, like my Lee Diffie impersonation. No, but so we started it all off on Saturday. First off, it's cool to see oval racing, but man, that PJ1 becoming a factor in both races because of NASCAR. Thanks NASCAR.
Yeah, which is interesting. You would think that they would. I guess I don't know how hard it is to take that stuff off of the track.
Well, I mean, if it was doable, I'm sure they would have done it. I'm sure that would be on there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Or they should have got it. Firestone should have, or somebody should have got a new spray compound and sprayed it onto the track. It's unfortunate, but didn't make the racing any less interesting.
Well, I don't know. In the aspect of just seeing guys, like I think it was Hinch that he kind of got ran off up high, and then he just lost. Like there wasn't. It was like one lane racing. I think maybe they could have done 2-lane past the racing if maybe they could race up high there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Nice to see. But Scott Dixon, he for the first time in IndyCar history, 2 New Zealanders, P1, P2.
Rookie P2.
Yeah,
Scott McLaughlin.
And good for him too. And I think I said to myself during that race, like that's going to put him up ahead for sure of the other rookies for rookie of the year right now. At least it's Hurley, but it was another dominating victory for Dixon at Texas, and it was the first of 2 races. Unlike what Wallace reported on the last episode. No,
you're
good.
Call me out on that. No, call me out on that, because I don't know how I missed that. Like we're supposed to sit here and know what we're talking about, and I completely missed. And to be completely honest with you, it's because that's the first time since I think 2014 that they've run a doubleheader at Texas. So it's not like it's a common thing for the series, and it's very common that they do a one-day show at Texas. So give me a little bit of credit. It's not all my fault.
Dalton Kellett of Stouffville, Ontario. I hope I got that right. Finished 18th. Stouffville. While James Hinchcliffe of Oakville, Ontario, crashed out, and as I mentioned there, and that was sucked to see for that. And then going on to Sunday, Pato O'Ward won. Good for him. He which also includes apparently a F1 test at the end of the season. So that's a pretty sweet deal if you ask me. One of the deals with him was that apparently if he won the race, he'd get a if he won a race sometime this season, he'd get a test. So that's pretty sweet. I think that'd be the best that'd be the best thing out of winning. Screw the trophy and all that bragging rights.
Yeah. It's a big deal. First Mexican since Adrian Fernandez to win in the IndyCar series, and the first time for McLaren since before Zach Brown was born, I think, that McLaren has won in IndyCar. So a lot of firsts, a lot of big milestones in this race.
In that second race, though, at the beginning of it was a little bit of a disaster. It reminded me of an iRace. 6 cars were already done even just before they reached the green flag. So lots of names too are out of it. So
that's not uncommon.
Rossi, Daly, Kellett, Ed Jones. There's some people in there. I think Bourdais and Fittipaldi were involved. Yeah, in that
Bourdais,
as well,
did not have a good weekend because in that first race he had one heck of a hit backwards into the wall out of turn 2. So
there's lots of wrecks this weekend where the aero screen came into play. Even that second race on where Daly's car, he at the start there in the second race, his car ended up going upside down, and definitely that came into a big factor. Again, another race where you always hear them say that that halo's coming into effect, and it is. So
yeah,
and and on that note, with obviously as we're seeing how great that is with the aero screen, and with obviously now with this week with Robert Wickens in the news because with his wreck at Pocono, and now we're seeing him coming back into a race car after his suffered bruised spinal cord back in 2018. And at one point, it was doubtful he would even walk again, and now they're setting it up for a ride at IMSA. And it's cool. He's got
I don't know about that yet.
Not IMSA? Oh, what is it then?
No. I don't know. This was not pegged as a test session for him to get racing.
No, not an audition.
No, it was just to get him back in the car. So the car they used, which was provided by Brian Herta Autosport, it was the Hyundai Veloster N, and it is out. So one of the drivers of that car is a fellow by the name of Michael Johnson, and Michael Johnson is paralyzed. So the car is already outfitted with hand controls. So it was kind of the perfect car for Robert to get into and test to see what it's like to be back
at Mid-Ohio
in a real car. Yeah.
In a Hyundai Veloster and TCR for the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was just
he had a good time
into it.
Yep.
So that's great to see because like you said, I mean, he wasn't supposed to walk again. So, will he ever be the driver he was? I don't know. Probably not. That's a bad heart injury, but you never know. And I'm just happy to see him making such good progress and teams still backing him. Speaking of IMSA.
Yeah.
big. I don't know how we missed this big news.
That is cool. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, that Roger Penske or Penske Racing has signed a multi-year agreement with Porsche for their new LMDH prototype, and they are going to run the program here in North America and feature it in the IMSA WeatherTech series. And they are also going to be running the car in Europe, which will compete in the WEC. It's actually a very Ganassi and Ford GT thing because Ganassi did the same thing with Ford for the GT program, and but this is just rekindling that that relationship that Penske has had with Porsche over the years, and most recently with the Porsche RS Spyder that competed in IMSA and would competed against the Audi R10 TDIs and the Peugeot 908s, I believe, too.
Beginning in 2023.
Yeah, well, that's when LMDH starts.
Right, yeah.
And it's great. They ran good with those Porsche Spyders back in the day, beating the factory Audi team on multiple occasions. So this is great. It's good to see It's good to see that that Penske is
So
still
he's in
going to
like
be.
every motorsport, basically.
Yeah, well, see, they left. They left the Australian supercars at the end of last year, and I wonder. And their contract ended with Acura at the end of last year, and maybe they were in talks for a while about this. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. There's probably a lot of behind the door stuff, but
I'm sure.
it makes me question though, because I wonder if there would be some Penske drivers from other racing series that could be names already for this team.
Maybe. That's a really good question.
Or are they going to look for some experienced guys?
Porsche does have a good group of factory drivers, some with prototype experience. And I think they will look at not only some of the young and up and coming drivers that are in their stable, but I think they will need to rely on veteran prototype drivers. So think if in the sports car world, you think of Neil Gianni.
Okay. So you're not seeing Brad Keselowski in the...
No, you'll never see those guys in that car. I will say that you will not ever see a Cup driver in a Penske Porsche at Daytona. It's not going to happen. Porsche take that way. Not that that's not serious, but Porsche take that way too serious to do that. What I'm hoping is that they take the only American factory driver in Patrick Long and put him in the Porsche.
We'll obviously, because there's some time in between now and then, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to obviously be coming out, I'm sure, between now and then, and I'm sure you'll have that covered.
Yeah, hopefully. Keep my ear to the ground.
got the guy on the inside there. Got our ear on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Going into some other Canadian racing talk, Raphael Lessard. He is not going to be backed for the rest of the season by his sponsor. No more ride for him. His season's come to an end. GM.
Did they say why?
So
say what happened?
The sponsor basically blamed COVID and said it's not a part of it's not a part of their, in quotes, strategy for funding, and so it's not going to happen. So that was my summary of what the guy said, basically in a statement. So in a personal press release that was released by GMS. So, but yeah,
that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. I'm sure he'll find something though. He'll be all right.
Hope so.
He'll
Yeah.
be okay. But so on Saturday night, Kyle Busch, he had a great night. Swept both stages in the race there. There was and it came down to him basically having to fight for his win, but because on the final restart there, it was quite the entertaining finish, I guess you could say, because he thought he was unsure because he thought he had some problems. He was saying on his radio there's some sort of technical problem, but it was a 3-wide battle at the end. He came from a 4th place at the final overtime to take the lead and ultimately won and led the final 2 laps by leading over Ross Chastain. So it marked the 2nd win of the season for Kyle. He's either won or finished runner-up in his 4 Truck Series races this season, so he's been doing good. And Kyle Busch Motorsports been doing good. They've won the last. This is the 5th straight win for KBM. So I mean, and that went into Sunday. Just the dominance. It was his birthday weekend. The Bushy McBush race on Sunday. It was like, all the all the stars were aligned for him, basically. And
Bushy McBushface won the Bushy McBush race.
Yeah, and and he swept the weekend there. And who knows what that is? Like, it's some weird racing god thing. I don't know. But the racing gods were happy with Kyle this past weekend, definitely. So he had a good for him, and his brother and him, they had a Cinco de Mayo celebration at the airport before he left. So good
so
for him.
Does he become the 11th different driver of the year?
I think it's 10th. I think it's 10th. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's I believe there's 6 spots left on that.
Who is it? Martin Truex Jr. That is the only one that's won twice this year?
I
think so. Bristol and Phoenix, no?
Logano won Bristol.
On dirt?
Yep.
Oh yeah. No, that's right. He won the truck race.
Yeah. He won the truck race. Yeah. So
that's what I was thinking.
So
interesting.
But yeah, so going into Darlington, though, Keselowski gets the pole, Kevin Harvick in second, Kyle Busch in third, Truex in fourth. So it's going off that format of 25% driver's finishing position from the last race, 25% car owner's position finishing from the previous race, and then 35% team owner points ranking and 15% fastest lap from the previous race. So even though they'll be conducting qualifying practice for only 8 races this season, which will just be coming up, the first one at May 23rd at the Circuit of the Americas, and then
why are they getting practice there? Is it other than it being a brand new circuit that they've never been to, what other tracks are they allowing them to do practice and qualifying at? Do you know?
No.
Oh.
But yeah, so
at least you're honest.
Yeah, I don't have that info up, so no, I can't tell you. But Kyle Busch, he's gonna be potentially a favorite going into this weekend. I think he's starting up their front, and we'll see what happens at Darlington. Love the lady in black.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to that. And I'm hoping to see I'm hoping to see someone like I think Hamlin is itching for a win. He's due for a win, so I would expect to see either Kyle Busch repeat or Hamlin. And Hamlin's good there, obviously, because I believe he won that one race there last year. So he's due for a win, and it'll be good to see him win.
Harvick won that race last year.
There's
not
2
the throwback, but their first, when they first came back after COVID.
So Harvick
won that, and he's starting second. You said so. I mean, keep your eye on him for sure.
That's right, because he came back at the Sunday race, and he had a piece at the end there. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And on the same note, though, with we'll end off the show talking on this. The NASCAR NextGen race car debut, and it was a clean sheet rethink, apparently, of what the stock car is. The structure, design, suspension, materials, wheels, the transmission, it's all new. And it has a lower greenhouse, a shortened deck lid, and a wider track. The current car's 110-inch wheelbase will carry over. And NASCAR gave automakers some room to stylize the greenhouse to look like the production cars, like the Camaro, the Mustang, or the Camry. And and a lot of the changes are almost kind of on the inside, because there's a lot of stuff on the outside that's obvious. There's a couple obvious changes. There's side air intakes, helping the engine and the brakes get some air. And
the single lug nut wheels.
Yeah,
that's a big one. Yep,
and then there's the diffuser on the back, and apparently there's going to be even more of a symmetrical design than ever before with the composite body, and that'll remove any current aero advantage by kind of different shapes, because that's still a thing, and there won't be any more shenanigans when it comes to when they do the laser scans and stuff. So that'll put emphasis back on setup and the driver skill. And there's such a big list too of where all these parts you can get stuff from. You know, I like the wheels, the BBS rim brand wheel. Big change on it. It's a center locking 18 by 12 inch forged aluminum wheel. It'll be looking nice. Good with the Goodyear around it. And the current gen car runs on 15-inch wheels, so the larger wheels with smaller tire sag walls will potentially have some handle or changes in the handling as well. And,
of course, yeah.
The larger wheels as well, looking to more represent current day production cars. And I think it's cool because it allows larger requirement for brakes, the rotors, so they can run larger brakes. 15-inch rotors and 14-inch and 4-piston rotors, monoblock calipers in the rear. I totally dogged out. The larger wheels allow NASCAR to require larger brakes with 15-inch rotors and 6-piston monoblock calipers up front, and 14-inch rotors and 4-piston monoblock calipers in the rear. There we go.
I'm excited.
There we go. And then with them being able to run with no clutch, basically with the sequential gearing, they'll still have to put their hand down on the shifter. It's not like it's on the wheel or anything like that, but they got 5 gears to play with. It'd be cool to see at road courses. You know, it's good for the sport.
Can we just give a big round of applause for NASCAR for finally entering into 90s technology of race cars? It's about time.
Yeah, the Dallara is apparently, I think they're making the diffusers, and McLaren.
They're making their car. Is Dallara not making the cars?
I got
the
a
chassis
list here. I got a list here. I did not see that a part of the chassis. The chassis is Technique Chassis LLC.
Okay.
Dallara is running the radiator ducts. Sorry, and then McLaren is running the digital dash and the ECU, which they already are
doing right now, right?
Yeah. So that's cool. You know, yeah, there's some stuff there. Some new technology.
Yeah.
What do people think about the next gen, though? I think they're happy about it. But what
do you think about them?
I'm not.
I want to know what you think
about it. I think it looks the same as it's like Gen 6 2.0. If you were to take the stickers off, you made a good point before we were talking, and they did a good job. Yeah, they did a good job on the stickers of the branding of the car, because if you took those off, it would be tough to tell the difference between them. Not just manufacturer-wise, but gen-wise. Like, put this next gen Camaro beside the current gen Camaro with no stickers on it, and then other than the obvious things, you tell me the difference. And that's the thing. And people, I guess, are going to be happy over little gimmicky things like the vents in the hood or the bigger rims. And I guess
so. The reality, I think, of the sport is that whether the car looks the same as the previous car or if pretends to be different, I think they look different. I can see the differences in how the car sits and stuff like that. But I am also used to looking at prototypes and Formula One cars that, to a lot of people, do look all the same, and I can sit there and say, well, no, this one's got this and this. So I'm used to being able to pick out little details like that on the race cars. To bring in a cheaper car to build, which this is, to take out the advantage one might have simply because of their body shape, is another. and to make the racing closer, but have the manufacturers still get their brand identity. I mean, I think it ticks all of their boxes. I like the cars. I'm unhappy that iRacing is charging me for the new car. And I'm unhappy that because the new car came out, iRacing is offering brand new members a full year for $20.
That's what's BS.
That's just but anyway, we'll go back to the car. Let's wait till we see it raced. I know I know it raced in the Pro Invitational, and I know iRacing is really accurate and really good.
I'm not even counting whatever iRacing tried to show us. I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, a real race is gonna be what will show us, right? Yeah. Because there is zero real world. Well, I mean, I guess there is real world data, but there isn't. I don't know. There isn't 41 cars in a pack real racing with this car. So when is that slated to hit the track? 2022 next year.
That's coming up. Yep. We'll probably see more testing of that too coming up, and I'm sure we'll see more a multi-car testing as well. So it'll kind of look a bit normal, and maybe it'll be a bit normal. But yeah, wondering what people love to have some feedback. Drop it in the comments. Let us know. And that just about wraps it up for this edition of the Wide World of Motorsports podcast. Make sure you check us out on social media at the WWOMS, and also check out the Wide World of Motorsports TV. Just tell Siri or Alexa to bring it up on your smart television. You want to say goodbye, Wallace?
Bye.
Hi, this is Alex Tagliani, NASCAR Pinty Series driver. You're tuned in from the track to the community on Wide World of Motorsports, the #1 motorsport show in the community.
Remember when I told all my drivers, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time? Drivers, start your engines!
It's been about a month or so, guys, since we did the last episode of the MRL pod. It's good to have you guys here. It's we got the gang, got some of the good fellas, we got some of the Wide World of Motorsports esports team. Yeah, I'm calling Seth French, Ankham Bauer, Langton, and Durfee the good fellas, and maybe Charlie too. You guys are the good fellas.
I thought they were Team Mayhem.
Well, they're Team Mayhem, but I call them the good fellas. That's their. And then then there's myself. We got Wallace. We got Eggleston. We got all the guys here, all the important guys of the Mayhem Racing League. No, I'm kidding.
Wow, screw everybody else, I guess.
Hey, we'll take the good fellas. It's a lot better than some of the things we've been called.
But yeah, so there's lots to cover, but let's just start off with today's race. With that was a classic race. I think even Eggleston said at one point that it was kind of shaping up to be a classic race in the league.
It was, but then we forgot how to calculate fuel and screwed up the pit stop.
So we sucked at that. We did not figure that out.
And I apologize a little bit. Sorry to interrupt there. We weren't looking to. I was looking to make it a night race, but we wound up being like at night. Literally, we wanted a sunset, but we wound up racing in pitch black, which was still fun.
They did not turn the lights on for us. But
no, they forgot to pay the pot. We didn't pay our rental fee, and they couldn't turn the lights on. We snuck in.
But still, though, in action, we ran mostly green, so in a way, I mean, it wasn't even a big deal. So, but that was actually kind of cool, and maybe it kind of made us race a little better. Yeah,
and it led to a great, huge race strategy too.
It did. We were pretty tight. Sean just got a big jump on fuel. Couldn't reel him in after that. There was no way I could make up that many seconds. But the race for the lead, the whole race long, was really fun.
Yeah, and I got a shout out because my boy Charlie Hamilton. I thought he had that in the bag, and he wound up coming into the pits for his pit.
Just lurking.
He got a penalty in the pits coming in, but he was way out in front when he stayed out. He was the one to beat.
We got a few races left in the season, but that was a blast. It definitely gave me a jolt in the series, and it was definitely classic. And Sean managed to hold us off.
There's been times that I can run him down and I can run the same lap speed and everything as him for 5 laps, but he does it for 90 laps. You know, he doesn't have a big variation lap to lap.
It's because he's a robot.
Wallace, I don't remember him ever saying if he had any sort of experience, but he might as well. So if he does, it makes sense, though.
Yeah, as far as I know, he doesn't have any real-life racing experience. He's played a lot of, he told me some of the other racing games prior to iRacing, so.
Setup or no setup, Sean is definitely there to be
on the beat.
Considered. Absolutely, yeah. But, you know, and again, we had a good, clean race. We were all racing close there. Gorino and I, we were racing a little hard there. He wasn't giving me much of a bone. So it was fun, but we were all racing close up there, and that was definitely a blast. And I have it up on the Facebook. So
Wallace is gone.
No, sorry about that. We lost Wallace from our race we were doing live.
No, I'm in 21st. Fuck
Wallace.
you guys.
Wallace, rest in peace.
No, he's taking top 25. I'm in 21st. We're good.
But let's take a look at the
Oh, no, never mind.
Situation here with the rest of the Mazda, the Club Jerky Mazda Mayhem season. Southern National is coming up on the 11th. Then on the 18th, we're at WeatherTech. And on the 25th, to wrap up the season, we're taking it to Bristol for 100 laps.
Yeah, and that's going to be a good one.
And the points, Sean Langton in the first position with 1,621. Brennan Huron, 1,587. And Seth French to wrap up the top 3 with 1,445 points. It's.
I think we're looking at expanding that Bristol last race too. Maybe do 150 laps because it closes the season out.
Hey, I'll race more. Yeah, throw on more. I don't care.
Yeah, that always seems to be a great race. Guys love it, and the Mazda handles really well there.
Yep.
If you increase the laps, are you going to give an extra fast repair?
Yeah, I think for there being that it's kind of a bang up one, maybe we'll do 2 fast repairs, maybe go 150, 160 laps. I don't know that. I think you can. I don't think so. Maybe
because tonight was awesome, man. There was perfect grip. The tires were not falling off. I would love to be able to get that in another race. Like I would hope Bristol would be able to have just like that kind of amount of grip. I love that.
So maybe if we do a limited fuel as well and put a little more strategy into that long race.
Yeah, that could be good. And the road course, the final road course of the season, is only an 18-lapper. Do you think you're going to change it to a time? Are you going to change that one too, you think maybe?
I'll probably go time. The road stuff's been really fun doing the time limit, 35 minutes. Anything over 40 seems a little bit too long, so maybe we'll go right to a time limit, and that way we can kind of have an estimate of what the laps will be, and it's going to be I think the timing's pretty good. You don't want to feel like you're out there too short or too long.
Did any of you guys make it in?
It's tough to judge. Yeah,
I made it.
So we also we have some other series ending soon as well. The Kia is ending very soon, Mazda and ARCA. So we got a handful of series here, and the Kia series is actually I showed up to a couple races that I could, and there was some pretty good racing. There was a good couple of good turnouts as well, and I'm definitely looking forward to Legacy Phoenix. Judging after this past race in the Mazda series for 35 minutes at Phoenix. Oh, I can't wait on May the 11th. So that's not this weekend, it's next week. So it's next Tuesday.
Tuesday before Mazda, and that's been a great series. Very challenging with that Kia being front wheel drive and some of the tracks we've run, some of the road courses, but it's been very good racing too.
I hate that car.
I hate it.
The races are a blast. I hate that.
Yeah.
I tell you, they're the type of car you can't really pull away from anybody either. It seems like when you get out.
Sean still does it.
Yeah, he still does. I've seen
Sean's
his bumper a lot.
He's owning that series with his he's 405 in first place. Seth with 360 points in second, and Mike Durfee with 331 points to wrap up the top 3 there for the championship standing for that. So I mean,
Yeah, it was definitely a fun race, a good array of tracks that Mike Durfee put on, and really had a good series he set up. I picked up one there, yep.
Eggleston got a win. Sean with 4 wins apiece.
Eggleston won on the dirt, had it right? Was it a dirt?
Yes, sir.
That was a really good race too.
Greg Abney also got a win. We haven't seen him in a while, but
Yeah, he might have been Charlotte, possibly, if I remember correctly.
I got a second to Sean, and I'll take that as a win.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it should be a win. A win should be a second place.
And we've seen past winners. Just going back to the Mazda series quick with that season. David Guarino with a win. Joey Campbell Jr. with a win. He's obviously no longer with us. Rest in peace. Marshall Harhey with a win. So you see a couple of different names in the Mazda series, which is really cool. But going over to the ARCA series, and it's kind of like it's not completely ending soon. Yeah, it's not completely...
ARCA's got maybe 6 left, right?
Yeah. So 7. So Dega on the 9th for 65 laps. And we've raced before in the ARCA cars at super speedways, and obviously being mindful that we're going to have to pretend like there's that beach ball in between our bumpers. That's definitely something I'm going to be putting back in my mind.
Yeah, bumping those cars will send you for a loop. So we got 6 races left in that, and that's still a pretty close points battle at the top between Donald Hickson and Sean Langton.
Yep.
I think they were 10 points, right?
Sean
8
Langton in first place with 1,630. Hickson with 1,612. And Michael Wallace with 1,440.
Woo! Yeah, that battle there is obviously for the win, but then from 3rd to 6th, I think it's pretty close.
Ouch.
Relatively close, just
All
within
within reach.
about 20 points or so. So yep.
Everybody's battling for the podium.
Talladega will be on the 23rd, so that'll be in 2 races, and that'll be on the road. Or sorry, Daytona will be in 2 races, and then it'll be on the road course, which will be interesting for 25 laps. Would you consider doing it timed as well for that? Just for like all our road course races?
Yeah, I think we're going to change the time for 35 minutes. We'll run an hour event, which will be 20-minute warm up.
Racing the
5
clock,
or 10 and 35.
that's a different race sometimes. So that's interesting. I always love that. And then we're going to stay there in Daytona in quotes. Better get the hotels booked, fellas. We're going to be going to the high banks on the ovals for on the following week for 85 laps. That'll be a good.
And Legacy to be a little bumpy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're using the oldie, which I love. Then we'll get to some new content we haven't really raced before. At least I haven't. Iowa Speedway. We'll be racing that on the 6th of next month. Yeah, I've raced it once and had a good race there. Yep.
I love Iowa.
Never been on it.
It's good. You'll like it. So they'll be on the 6th of June.
There.
Then WeatherTech, Charlotte, and Phoenix to round off that season. So, next thing you know, that'll be done. The end of that season will be at the end of June. So, just like that, boom. It's going to come by quick.
Yeah, it will. Then we're going to, there's going to be some new seasons coming up. There will be a summer series. We're looking at a late model or super late model at possibly one home track for maybe 5 weeks and try to get the late model introduced into our league.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that for a few minutes here. So, and we're also talking about maybe taking a vote on which tracks, maybe 1 or 2 tracks.
Yeah, 5 or 6 races, and maybe we'll go for popular vote or pick the top 2. Maybe USA will be one, and it'll be just kind of like a running,
vote.
kind of like what Dave Guarino said, like a Friday-Saturday series, like a local series.
I think popular vote would be, and then or you randomize it at that point, so you get whatever in, and then maybe you take a couple of or maybe you take one of the lesser ones, or who knows if you randomize it, but that's up to you, obviously.
Yeah, and the reason for it's going to be to test out that late model car, because when ARCA ends, I believe we're going to have late model or super late model take over the Sunday night. ARCA will kind of be retired with the car.
I'll miss the ARCA.
Yeah, everybody liked it, but maybe we'll run some fun stuff.
So I'll have to look into that.
They're both really, really fun cars. It's kind of same style kind of racing. I feel like it's a little bit bigger car, but it handles 10 times better.
The super late would be the most commonly raced one on the hosted and the official sessions.
Yeah, there's a lot of late model guys on iRacing.
I get my ass whooped by some dude down in the States. It's really good at late model. Great. No. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the folks decide, and maybe one of you guys will put that up in the few days here to come. Maybe if you're already listening to us, it'll be already up, so you can just check it out on Facebook. It'd be, I don't care what it is. It would just be interesting to see where people are at.
Yeah, and the late model's a car that David Ackenbauer. He's still with us, Dave.
He said he typed that he was having some connection issue.
Yeah, I know he does some work at a local track down his way with I think it's late model, super late model, and so he knows a little about those cars.
There you go. It'll be interesting to see coming up with that. What are some tracks that maybe you guys would like to see in that series? Let's discuss.
So I think anybody can speak up here. I think track-wise, some of the ones that we introduce as paid tracks that guys have, we're going to put those in so we get use out of them, but I'm open to anything else and whatever's on the
I'll just say
the free content. Yeah, Bristol. So Bristol, Watkins Glen may be tough, super late model, but we'll give it a shot because we all bought it. It'll be a fun one still.
Depending on how Iowa goes, I would like to say let's throw that one in there. Or North Wilkes, if anyone's got that, it'd be cool to go to an old track. It may be because we're on the side note here. You're seeing a lot of stuff on social media right now in and around the area of North Wilkesboro, trying to bring the track back. It'd be cool if we could kind of revive it digitally or something like that.
Yeah, we'll have to take a vote, see who has it. I know a lot of guys do have it, and that's a great track to race any car on.
Right.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But yeah, I guess who else in here with Wallace? I'm sure you would love you some Langley or Lanier.
Yeah, I like them both.
Yeah, you were. I remember you were talking about in a couple of podcasts ago something. We were kind of batting around this idea of that series using a later super late and trying to keep it to a track. So definitely cool to see that come out to play in the months to come. And so some other series though. Have we covered any street stock series stuff yet? Have we talked anything about?
I don't think so, which is kind of upsetting for me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
There's no love and no glove for the Hendricks home.
It's the only series I'm good at.
Stewart. Yeah, and we're basically about midway through that season. Basically, we just raced at Lime Rock, and that was a timed race. That was fun, and that, hey guys, that was a lot better than I thought it was. It was I think Charlie said it was like driving like a tank or something like that around the track, but it was still fun though.
I had fun, but I again followed Sean Langton around the whole way. I think that was a good course to drive those street stocks on. It wound up being a great race and a lot of fun. And I've been kind of 50-50 races I can make in that series. So you guys may have a little more overall things to talk about in that series. I think how many races have we done so far? Maybe 5 or 6, 7 maybe. I think I made 3 or 4.
So 5. We're 5 races into the season.
I know I missed like 2 of them. So maybe you guys have some more kind of intel or summary on that series.
Well, Eggleston has been very strong so far with 2 wins, and his average start 5th and his average finish 4th, so looking like he's pretty consistent. And
consistently mediocre.
And then yours truly in the 2nd position, average start 9th, but average finish 4th. As you guys know, I like to, and just like today, I like to start from the back and get up there. So, but no win for me yet. But Jesse Baker, he raced in Lime Rock, so he was able to get a good finish there, and he was able to get back in the 3rd spot. And Eggleston's got 210 points. I've got 200 points. Jesse Baker's got 193 points. So obviously, still relatively pretty close. Just within there, you never know who might miss the race or have a bad race. Seth and Sean, also, you guys got a win apiece too, even though
it's one. Still a great car to race on any track. I feel I like that car. You can battle in it.
It's like
too.
The meat. I see it like kind of like my meat and potatoes. And I'll say it. I feel like I've always been. If we're to look at all the series, my name just happens to be up there always. It seems like in the street stocks, I don't know what it is about it that I just like so much about it. I think it just goes back to, it's like it reminds me of just stock car racing, and that's kind of where that's my oval racing is my thing. So, I know some guys are better at road racing or even some of the other cars. I'm not so great in the Miata, I feel like. Same thing with the Kia. I'm hit and miss there. Same thing with the Arca, too.
The thing I like with the street stocks is really battling it, I guess is the way to say. You can kind of bang off each other without, not intentional, just you can get close, you can grind a door, you can, and intentional, some guys, but you can really bump and grind good.
A mistake doesn't kill your race.
Right.
You get into somebody, you bump around a little bit, you get 2X, and the car stays the same.
Yeah,
another car, like the ARCA cars, you get a 4X and it quits driving. You know.
Yeah, or the car's too banged up for aerodynamics and your night's over.
I got caught up in lap traffic, or no, Eggleston and I were catching. Either he was lap traffic or we were racing for position, and someone blocked us, and I spun out, but I recovered it quick, and I didn't even really lose a position. I think if anything, I gained a position on the person that wrecked. So it would.
Yeah, we were racing for a position in that race,
and it was close there too. And you were definitely, you had a piece there too, Eggleston. You've had a piece a lot.
I do my best.
I know. I always feel like I'm around and battling.
Yeah, and I'll go out on a whim too. I know it's easier for me to say, but and not to get clicky, and it never was clicky, but I do like how some of us have formed kind of teams or factions, if you will.
I do too. It seems like a healthy step in the league. Like,
it's kind of legit.
Because real racing series and sanctioning bodies and all that good stuff, they have different teams. Obviously, just look at the Cup Series,
right?
But I think it's healthy.
Like to race together, yeah.
It's not like there's bad blood between the guys in the league.
It's overall friendly. It's just you got some things that form.
Right, yeah.
Which is fun. It makes it fun.
Well, it's nice to it's nice because I notice even though we might be in our two separate groups or whoever's in groups, but everyone still is involved in the race chat too, right? Everyone seems to be involved there too. So it's not like it's only happening on the Discord chats and not in the race chat.
I know out of anything.
No. I mean, sometimes it's a little quiet, but I think that it lends to, difficult racing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be the first one to say you can call it teams for lack of a better term, but I know you do feel more comfortable when there's a guy who's on your team coming up behind you. But hey, I'm still racing that guy, and he's still racing me. Trust me, I'm not moving over for those guys.
Like
and I'm
Moreno and I today.
We're still gonna battle. We're still gonna grind out, and you can say it's a team, but it's still every man for himself, still kind of thing. You feel better when he's next to you. You might give him a little bit more room, but I'm not giving him a win.
I just like to take them out. So
yeah, but that's a lot like
2 weeks in a row
about the short track racing. There's a lot of that. I mean, there's guys that I pit next to that I'm good friends with, and they get a little bit more of a break. You race them just as hard,
right?
But you trust them a little more
because
they're not just going to dump you. You might still get together, but it's not going to be intentional or something, So, and you have those clicks in real life too. And it's not that Group A doesn't like Group B. It's just that maybe they pit down in turn 3, and so where I am, I got Dylan Stovall and me and Ryan Stutz and Donnie Brest. We all pit down in turn 1, and we're all friends and we help each other. And it's not like we don't get along with the guys that pit in turn 3. We do, but because of where our assigned pits are and where we are, we just tend to stay with those guys more. And that's kind of what this is.
All right.
Going back to what Eggleston said, that's great. That's what keeps this thing alive, going forward. And hey, you know what? We're almost looking into a year of, and the next thing you know we're going to be doing this for a year, putting up with each other.
Any big anniversary races planned? So?
Oh, you got to do something.
We should. And I'll have to look because I don't know the official date of the first. I want to say late August, right? Does that sound about right? August time frame?
Like that.
Yeah, it was mid-August.
Maybe we got the date. It's pretty easy to find. I'll have to look that up. Maybe we'll do some special big race event for that.
As far as all the Discord teams go, I'd like to consider myself the Switzerland and all of that.
He wants as Charlie said, he wants to broadcast all his thoughts to everybody. So
yes, I'm the hippie that went to all the dead shows that just wants everybody to love everybody.
Yeah, I don't think Charlie's gotten fired up with anybody the whole time, and the whole time we've been in this league. I don't think he's ever.
Has a lot of patience, I'll tell you.
Yeah, like the guys.
If he did, he didn't say it.
The guys on the Wongs definitely know this because I was like, I feel pretty comfortable with this top 4 because we have the nicest guy on the racetrack in 5th behind us.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was like,
I remember.
Charlie goes out of his way to not be in anybody else's way, even when he has a shot to win.
I told him during that race, I said, Charlie, you're sitting in the best seat in the house right now. You guys were 3 wide, 4 wide. I said, they're all going to wreck. You're going to go right by them. He was content. I think he was content watching you.
Yeah, I thought that too.
You know, actually, Eggleston, I think you yelled at me last race, SS races. I think you're like, you don't have to slow down that much.
Yeah, because you pulled over. You just pull over.
He pulled over and was like 35 miles an hour slower than I was. And I was like, Charlie, you don't have to do that. Just drive.
And Charlie's a damn good racer too, man. We did like a random Pocono open wheel Dallara Dash race the other day, and he could have won that race. He was in second. He was going up there. Like, you know, both of us had no practice in it, so
I don't know how I pulled that off because I haven't even been in that car in like 6 months.
Because you're a wheel man.
And hey, you know what? There's some, just to wrap up the show here, real quick. Just a couple of things. Wallace and I were speaking about some ideas, and I was thinking we could do like an IROC Invitational on behalf of the Wide World of Motorsports and sanctioned by the Mayhem Racing League, and it'll be just like the original IROC series. It'll be 4 tracks: Legacy Michigan, Legacy Charlotte, Legacy Daytona, and Legacy Texas. And it'll be an invitational, and there will only be about a dozen cars, just like in the original IROC series. And it's not mandatory, but it would be nice to get some guys together during the summer and just kind of do something fun. You know, just no big commitment kind of thing. So just in case some of those guys are away or whatever, one of our other R series, they can still run. You know, it's basically a fun run, a glorified fun run is what it is. But, you know, looking forward to do that. And we're thinking about using street stock cars, just kind of like the old back in the 80s when they did the IROC. And I'm trying to reach out to some actual real life racers and iRacers, and we can hopefully mix with them and get ourselves out there. So looking forward to that, brewing up that for a little bit of a summer thing. So excited to hopefully have some of you guys invited out there. There's some real hot runners in the Mayhem Racing League. Love to see you guys run out there this summer.
I'd love to.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I know that.
Thomas, I'd love to.
It's a tight invitation though, so no, I'm kidding. Yeah, but be sure to check that out. And for everybody, though, if you are listening and you are not a member of the Mayhem Racing League, check it out on Facebook. Type it in the iRacing League directory. Join it. Give us a shout. You know, we're still growing, man. You know, I'm seeing it get bigger and bigger. We're seeing some new and different names out there. So more than welcome. Love to see you out there.
We've had a bunch of new guys join the last couple of weeks, and they're doing great, and we want more. So come on aboard.
Have you guys thought about doing a recruitment race with the Mazdas on an oval somewhere?
Something.
One not too long back.
Yeah, that's what we got to start doing. Some more recruitment races just to get the numbers back up. We were running, I think our peak there was about, 30 guys a race we were getting at one point?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, which was unbelievable. It makes for some phenomenal racing.
It absolutely does, Seth. And now I think we're going to wrap up this edition of the MRL Pod. Check out the Mayhem Racing League on iRacing League directories and Facebook.